So, here it is. In a bid to fight Donald Trump, Jinping made a silly decision back home, and now what he has in his hands is the great China chip loot, with billions of dollars down the drain and a bunch of fraudsters. Moral of the story, the communist regime of China is not so bright. Hi and welcome to TFI Global, the foreign affairs and geopolitical analysis arm of the TFI Media Group. I am your host Sanveer Singh Ranhotra, and in this video we shall discuss what we at TFI call the Great China Chip Loot, a result of Xi Jinping's ambitious policies. And the story cannot get juicier than this. The Chinese Communist Party and Xi Jinping had ambitions to make China a hub of semiconductor and microchip production after Donald Trump's crackdown on chip supplies to China, which is in turn killing China's tech sector and especially Huawei, which does not have much time left to survive if the chip supplies remain dry. The aim was to invest in local startups and become independent from US technology and Taiwan's chip dominance. By supporting companies which show potential and give good results, the CCP wanted to find a national champion in this field. However, this reckless investment in startups by the local governments led to the creation of multiple non-performing assets, which were in hiding till the pandemic hit. However, the story of a much celebrated company evaporating in an instant and taking all the investment with itself has shocked the communist regime. And like it, several phony companies have sprung up and gobbled up billions of yuans meant for revolutionizing China's semiconductor industry. The Chinese provinces of Wuhan and Hubei had termed one such startup as a star project. Wuhan Hongshin Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, riding on this wave of recognition, received $20 billion in investments. However, later it was found that the whole company was fake, the founder was a conman, and every promise that the company had made was false. This was one of the biggest frauds in recent history and has rocked China, and seems like the joke is on the Chinese Communist Party. 36KR conducted a probe on the billion-dollar fraud by the Wuhan Hongshin Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, or HSMC. HSMC was jointly formed in November 2017 by the Wuhan Dongshihu District Government and Beijing Guangliang Lanthu Technology, a company registered by an individual named Cao Shan. However, as the things were unearthed, it was found that Cao Shan was not even the real name of the HSMC founder. Cao's name was in fact Bao and Bao, who borrowed the name of his family's driver. He had not only forged his name, but the credentials were falsified too. TSMC never had a VP named Cao Shan, and Acer did not even have an office in New York, while it has the credentials he had used to fool the authorities in China. In reality, Bao had only completed primary school and lacked the technical expertise required to make semiconductor chips. Such issues have been extensively covered by TFI. It was earlier reported how the trade war followed by the Second Cold War with the USA made Chinese companies starved of consumers as well as of supply lines. The Trump administration had banned the sale of semiconductors based on American secretive design and blacklisted the Semiconductor Manufacturing International Corporation, the largest Chinese semiconductor manufacturer. As reported by Nikkei Asia, the NDRC is trying to work with other government departments and has put tighter supervision in place over semiconductor projects. However, China still hasn't learned from these developments and is adamant about chip development and manufacturing. The geopolitical tensions between China and the US are unlikely to be resolved soon, and Chinese manufacturers' access to US-produced chips and other key components have been severely restricted, which is why China is trying to work things out. A veteran investor based in the Yangtze River Delta industrial region revealed to 36KR. The semiconductor manufacturing industry is extremely complicated with many stakeholders. It is difficult to pinpoint responsibility and hold anyone accountable when something goes wrong during the process. Besides, when actual fraud is found, local governments will swallow their pride, absorb the losses, and stop talking about it. HSMC managed to con its suppliers, industry veterans, and government backers simultaneously. It is either that way or hardcore corruption in the CCP regime. The government may have taken over such entities, but the money is gone. And this is indeed the Great China Chip Loot, which is a result of Xi Jinping's reckless ambitions in the face of an assertive USA. China is keenly interested in gathering information from other countries, but how did it miss such a big fraud in its own backyard?